Hey, it's Patti, Scharf CPA and co-founder of Catching Clouds, the leader in e-commerce accounting. Today I want to talk about W-9s and 1099s because those 1099s are coming up due like the end of next month, and I don't want you guys to be scrambling, so I want you to get started now. All right, so what is a 1099? A 1099 is kind of like a W-2 for your independent contractors. So you know how like when you're an employee for somebody else and your employer pays you to do work and at the end of the year you get a W-2 and you use that to prepare your income tax return? Same deal for independent contractors. Independent contractors, they're providing services to lots of different people and they need to get 1099s from all those different companies so that they can put it all together and report it to the IRS. Now, the IRS actually is using it just to make sure that the service providers are reporting all of their income. That's kind of what's going on here. So, but you have an obligation as the one who is hiring somebody to provide these services. You have the obligation to report their earnings to the IRS. So you need to know how this works. So who gets a 1099? So generally it's going to be service providers, so people who are providing you a service. It may be your landlord, it may be your janitor, it may be your graphic design person, it may be your attorney. There are all kinds of different things, but in general, if they're providing a service to you, you should be including them on your list. But that's just one parameter. The next threshold is, did you pay them more than $600? Yes? They're probably going to get a 1099 unless, are they incorporated? If they are a corporation, so like typically in their company's name, it'll end corporation or corp or inc. That means they're a corporation and they are exempt from having to get one of these things. Now, if they are a limited liability company, they may or may not. We'll talk about that in a second. And if they're a sole proprietor, they probably will. The next parameter is, did you pay them through cash, check, ACH, Venmo? If you've paid them wires, if you've paid them in one of these different methods, you're going to have to send them a 1099. If you pay them with a credit card or you pay them with PayPal, then PayPal and the credit card processor, those guys are going to be sending out the 1099s, so you don't have to. Okay, so how do you know if you're paying somebody who is a corporation, so you know whether or not you need to send them a 1099. And the answer is you use a form called W-9. All right, so you need about 5 different pieces of information from your service providers to know whether or not you're going to send them a 1099. And then if you are going to send them one, you need this form so that you know what information to include on the 1099. And those items are name of the person, and their business if they have a DBA. You need their either social security number or their employer identification number. You need their address, their email address, and what type of business they are, so their entity type. And now I'm going to give you a bonus tip. You should ask for your service providers to provide you the W-9 before you ever pay them, because they are super excited to give you that W-9 so that they can get a check. Versus waiting until tax time when it occurs to them, oh wait, I don't want to include this on my tax return, and they want to like kind of trick the system. So if you want to make it easier on yourself, remember this is your legal responsibility to be getting this information and sending out these forms. If you want to take care of what you need to take care of, do yourself a favor and get the W-9s before you pay them. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the process a little bit and what we use. We use a tool called Track1099. This is not a paid advertisement, no affiliate fees with this or anything like that. We've been using it for, I want to say 6 years, give or take. A really long time. We've been really happy. The great thing about this system is you don't really pay for the service, you pay by the forms. So if you file one form, you pay for one form filing, which is amazing. If you file 50 forms, you pay for 50 forms, but they have a pricing scale. So like the more forms you file, the cheaper it becomes per form. And if you're an accountant, then like you can count up all of your different clients and total all those forms together, and it just gets cheaper and cheaper per form. Okay, so here's roughly how it works. You set up an account on Track1099, you go into their W-9 module, and you send out an email through their system to your service provider. Your service provider will get an email. They will fill out the W-9. So they'll include their name and address and taxpayer ID number and yada yada. They will electronically sign the form and it'll get sent back to you. When it comes back to you, you will have a list of all the people you have invited, whether they need to get a 1099 or not, and basically all the information you're going to need to send out a 1099. Pretty awesome. Instead of sending out one by one, you can also upload a list, or you can actually, it connects to Xero, it connects to QuickBooks Online, it connects to basically anything, because you can import a CSV into the system if you want to go that way. If somebody gives you a paper W-9, you can also go in and just like type it up and include that information that way. So you can have all of your W-9s, no matter how you're getting them, loaded up into your system. Then, when it's time to file your 1099s in January, you just click Transfer to the 1099 module, and it will take all the information that you have from the W-9 system, move it over to the 1099 system with all the addresses and taxpayer ID numbers and all that different stuff, so you know that if there's a typo, it came from the person that you sent it to and not from yourself, which is really awesome. And then you can just look in your accounting system and you can type in the different amounts that is due to them. The other option is if you have this information loaded, like the address and taxpayer ID number and all that stuff loaded into like Xero, then you can export it from Xero into Track1099, and you can send the 1099s that way with all the numbers, like the amounts already pre-populated. Then once everything's in there and ready to go, you just schedule them for delivery. They can be electronically sent to all the independent contractors. Then you can also queue them up for e-filing with the IRS. After you schedule everything with the IRS and you've sent them off to the independent contractors, the system will actually track when things have been viewed and accepted and everything else. If there are any errors, then it'll get kicked back to you and you can fix them. It's such a great process for keeping track of all this stuff, which previously has always been just a nightmare to try and keep track of. All right, so I've got a few links for you down below for more information on 1099s and W-9s in general. I've got a link to the Track1099 system, so you can look that up. And that's pretty much it. I hope you try it out. If you like it, and if you've used it in the past and you like it, leave me some comments below. If you decide to use it this year, leave me some comments. I want to know how it went. And I think that's it. I hope you like this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll catch you later.